You go for the brown bear. I'll go for the other brown bear.
Brown bear, brown bear. Where's that book? Oh my God.
You had something. You had something right there. You almost had it.
I almost had it. I think it's like an Eric Carle book. You know, the same guy who wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Okay, I
Oh,
remember that. I remember that book.
okay.
The
Hold
brown bear?
on. Okay, we're going to start this episode off with a tangent,
Oh man, I
obviously.
love it.
Let's
Welcome
see. Hold
back,
on.
everybody. We
Oh, no,
took
no,
a
I
week
was
off.
wrong. I was wrong. It's Bill Martin Jr. Brown bear, what do you see? That's
I
that's
don't know
what
if I remember that one.
oh,
I
the
remember
cover.
the
The
Hungry
cover is one of
Caterpillar.
those covers that like if you
Probably
saw the
recognize.
cover, you'd go, "Oh, I've seen that."
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to look it up. But hey, welcome everybody. We took a week off last week because Scott was doing like this whole thing of watching Twilight of the Gods with his friend Zack Snyder and everything.
And Wes.
And Wes Caller. Yeah, we can't forget about him. Nicest guy in the world. I mean, they're both nicest guy in the world, but always great to see that. And yeah, you had a good time, I take it.
I did. I've been meaning to throw together like kind of a video.
You should.
I'm going to. I finally downloaded the pictures I took on my phone. I'm going to do kind of a weird. I'm gonna get creative. Like I'm trying to do more video things. So I'm gonna do like a little bit like almost like a slideshow with some narration, and then maybe jump to like a video of me doing a review of. At this point, since it's been a week, I feel more comfortable like reviewing the whole series now.
Well, yeah.
So I think I'm going to kind of do like a one part, hey, kind of a vlog of my like my experience going to the event, and then review the series. But so I got some cool pictures. But yeah, it was great. You know, I had another one of these. You know, wake up at 2:45 in the morning. I was up for about 22 hours last Wednesday because I woke up at 2:45 and then didn't go to bed until almost half past midnight.
Yeah, because you drove to Atlanta and then drove home.
Yes, I did. And unfortunately, my GPS made the drive home a bit of an adventure.
Oh, I love it when the GPS decides to do something like that.
You love it when the GPS decides to go, I didn't say avoid highways and interstates, but it takes you that way.
Yeah.
And so eventually you find the sign that says, hey, the interstate's this way. And I went, screw you, I'm going to that interstate. And it took like an hour off my return trip home because it's like, I'm literally a straight shot on I-20. Why didn't you just put me back on I-20?
Yeah, so, gotta love that. No, but I mean, you know, obviously, saw the pictures, saw you met Anthony, good old ACS.
Oh, dude, he did me a solid because he got there about an hour before I did.
Yeah,
because the line the line was supposed to start at 6, and he got there like at 3:30 Eastern time. I got there about 4:20 Eastern time, and thankfully, even then, there was only like 10 people in line. And Anthony did the solid of he was number 3 in line. He was like, Scott's coming. And so when I walked up, I just went, hi guys. I'm with him.
It's what happens. I mean, you know, as long as they allow that, that's perfectly okay. But no, it's great seeing those pictures with you and Anthony and you and Zach. And you got some stuff signed, which is cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Dexter was there, and that was awesome.
Oh yeah, Dexter also, yeah.
Yeah, I got to meet him and his sons, and that was super cool. I hope y'all have enjoyed the series. I love it. So it's like it took me longer to watch all 8 episodes than I wanted, but you know, at least I didn't like rush through it. I got through like 2 or 3 a day, and so it's
yeah. I'm halfway through, and
you're not even finished yet.
No, I'm not even finished yet. You know me, it takes me a little bit sometimes, but I did watch the first 4 episodes last week.
The fourth was one of my favorites of the entire series.
Dude, I mean, it's quality animation, which we expect, obviously, and just obviously seeing Thor as a fucking asshole and like
Well, that's the fun part, that in the Norse
yeah.
mythology, he is an
Yeah. Yeah, I
asshole.
mean, and I see people on Twitter and stuff like that going, "Why doesn't this Thor in, the MCU?" It's like, well, they're not gonna do that. It's a different Thor, first off. I mean, it's kind of the same, but kind of not really, it's yeah, they're not gonna make him I mean, he kind of can be an asshole, I guess you could say, but he's not gonna be like this.
No, no, not when
Up
he's
to
basic.
a wedding.
Oh, oh man, watching that on the big screen
Oh, I'm
was.
sure. Yeah. See, that's the thing. You got to see the first two episodes on the big screen, which is always better, obviously.
Oh yeah, so it was lots of fun. Thank you for letting me take a week off, boss. So I could,
Hey, you're welcome. After this, though, yeah, you got to work straight every Wednesday for the next year. Just
I
kidding.
I think the next 5. I think we're determined we're going to be at this for a while.
Whatever. Whatever. But thank you, everybody who's joining right now. We got somebody new, Derek. Hey, he's a huge Batman fan, and he's joining right now.
Cool.
Good to see you. We got, of course, Dick with that glorious mullet. Yes, we get to see the mullet again, of course. And we got Agent Bear 616 right here. When will this come out? Are you talking about Twilight of the Gods? It's actually out right now, if that's what you're referring to right here. It's on Netflix. You can watch all the episodes, watch it, support it, check it out. It's R-rated. It gets right to it.
It's our, my God, the first 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
I love my review basically said sex and violence, and that's just the first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, the first 5 minutes it's just like boom, and then hey, let's get it on, and yeah, you see a lot of things.
Everything.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, they ain't holding back. That's what I like about Zach too. Is like the fact that it's like, hey, are we allowed to do this? Let's fucking do it. Like we're not gonna. I'm gonna put a sex scene in here, and we're gonna show full frontal everything. It's like, yes, nothing
Yes.
wrong with that, man. You're pure. You're a pure artist, and you want to put that out there. By all means, do it, because damn well that, and that was one of the things like when I was talking about too. Is like if Zach were to do like if he could finish off his stories of DC in animation form, would he go, can I have a sex scene in this? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know if you've heard, like, I mean, he's talked about the Wonder Woman backstory on like interviews, but I mean, I know some people that know, and maybe some of the similar people. Have you heard like some of the details and some of that backstory that
Yeah,
yes. Okay. Yes. Because I think one particular person that that heard this told me, probably told you too. And it's just like, fuck. I mean, that Wonder Woman backstory because Zach is all about details. And when it came to that portrait of Wonder Woman with all the heads and the fact that she was like, oh, yeah, let's just face it. Like, Wonder Woman is also pretty promiscuous.
Well,
Yeah.
the funny thing though is that like, and that's what like, guys, it's not like DC hasn't done this. Go back and watch Apocalypse War. I
Yeah.
am still like, oh,
Yeah.
at like what happens in the first like 10 minutes of Apocalypse War. That was a fabulous, fabulous animated movie.
Well, it's
So
one of those things where we just go, Zach is always ahead of his time. I mean, you see something like Watchmen, and then people go back to that and go like, Jesus Christ, wait. Before The Boys and all the stuff, Invincible, wait, we had a movie that was taking these concepts before from this guy in 2008. It's like, yeah, we've been trying to tell you. It's like, that's what I love about Zach. It's like, well, how can I really deconstruct these characters and show them as real, and like that it's not just the happy-go-lucky like, oh yeah, we're here to save the day, and yes, we got some things, but no, we're actually going to show them be like real.
and these guys, with Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski
Oh
and
yeah,
Paul Dean and Al Burnett, it's like that's what they were. We've been talking
wanting
about
to
this.
do.
They were wanting to. I mean, Alan Burnett worked on Super Friends, and all
Yeah.
he wanted to do when he came on to Batman the Animated Series was, "Can I please not do that?" Like,
Yeah.
and they
None of
go,
this.
and it's just amazing how they go there, even before we get to the PG-13 and the R-rated direct-to-video movies that we'll talk about like later. I mean, what they get away with in this connected universe, especially Oh my god! When we get to Justice League Unlimited, I am.
Yeah.
I'm just chomping at the bit for that. But I do want to bring up, guys. I know we're gonna talk about Amalek soon, but I just messaged Dave like yesterday. I cannot believe we are 13 weeks away from Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah, We're
We're
3 months, about 3 months away from Batman Beyond. We're gonna start diving into that world.
oh god, I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
So
it's gonna
much
be good time.
goodness.
I know. I was like, wow. Oh yeah, 3 months. So basically, at the beginning of 2025, we're gonna be diving into. We're gonna go into the future a little bit here, guys. But right now, we got not the full Bat family, but the guys of the Bat family when
The
it comes
boys,
to
we got the
the
boys.
boys. We got an adventure with the boys here. I mean, because it's kind of interesting because we've had a lot of Batman and Batgirl adventures, and then sometimes Tim will show up, sometimes Nightwing will show up, but it's been a lot of Batgirl Batman, which is nothing wrong with that. I have no qualms at all, but at the same time, it's just kind of cool to like, yeah, this is just the three dudes in the Bat family right here that are taking on. Well, it was kind of funny because I think, like, even when we talked about it, I was like, I don't know if I really remember this episode. And of course, the thumbnail and Max, I was like, all right. But then, what immediately when I saw when it starts off, obviously we start off with like all three of them. Well, not all three of them at first. First, it's just Robin and Batman on top of a building, and of course, Nightwing shows up. And then I just love that. It can never just be like, thanks for joining. No,
No,
Batman.
there's got to be some. Batman's got to be a dick. Batman has got to be a dick. And I'm
Was
just
all, I heard you coming from.
from halfway across the roof.
And it's just like, so I mean, even though that Dick Grayson is off on his own, doing his own thing, he's still getting grilled by Batman by not being stealthy enough, and it's just like, Jesus, man, come on. But it was when we see this dude that's climbing up an antenna on top of a building. I was like, oh, that's right, that's a gorilla. I was like, and then it was just like one of those things where I was like, oh yes, now I remember this episode. That immediately when I saw that, I was like, all right, I remember this episode.
See, that was the part of the episode I remember. I
Yeah,
can tell you when we start talking through the episode, I can tell you the point because it's another one of those weird episodes. And I've talked about this before where I've told you, Dave, I remember the episode up to this point.
yeah,
And then after this, it's like, I don't remember how this episode ends. This
yeah,
was another one of those episodes. It's like, I remember the gorilla um, was I didn't remember what the gorilla was stealing, but I did remember that the gorilla was the beginning of the episode.
yeah,
And then when Dick and Tim go to Haley's circus, I remember that.
yeah.
And then boop.
Because like right after, when this all happens, when they try to get this guy that's climbing up this antenna doing whatever he's doing, and of course, like, hey, he's got a lot of strength. Even like, Robin tries to, wrap him up with whatchamacallit. I always forget what that
Ebola.
is. That what that's called?
You're talking about the thing with the rope with the balls
Weighted,
at the end?
yeah, yeah.
It's called Ebola. Yeah.
Ebola, yeah. Wow, that's interesting. It's called Ebola. That's also a name
A
of a.
no, no, Bola. So it's a bola. Yes.
I know, but if you say it,
I know. I was like,
it's like as Ebola, yeah,
this is an outbreak. This is not the Dustin Hoffman movie with the monkey. There's
Oh,
monkeys, but not those monkeys.
not those kind of monkeys. No, but and then of course he breaks out, and it's just like, I mean, obviously it hints at it first because you don't see his face, see the eyes, and then all of a sudden when he gets on the ground, he's obviously got really long arms, and he's using that. So obviously they have like a struggle trying to get, but then Dick goes, Nightwing just goes, Peaches. It's like,
Okay. This is where I mean,
yeah, I see where you're going with this.
okay. I'm glad you're on the same wavelength with me. I don't. I do not have any kind of close relationship with a gorilla. It's just. I'm sorry. I just haven't gone there.
Yeah.
in my circles.
Me neither.
How
Say it.
can you
Say it.
tell one
Yes.
gorilla from another? I
Yeah.
especially okay. It's not just that you can tell one gorilla from another. That's one thing. How many fucking years has it been since Dick's been at the circus?
I
I
know.
think we.
Yeah.
I was trying. Actually, I was thinking about this today, Dave.
Yeah.
I think we did the math when we watched Robin's Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2. All those at this point years ago, because we can say that now.
Yeah.
I think we established that in the animated universe, Dick was 8 or 9. I don't think we ever
It
got
was
an
something
exact.
around there. Yes.
It was
Yes.
8 or 9 because we did establish that Robin's backstory in Robin's Reckoning was 10 years previous to present day.
Yes.
So
Now
now
we're
we've got another 2 years. So we're saying conservatively, Dick has been away from Haley Circus for conservatively 12 years.
yes. It's been a bit. Keep going.
And you can tell the difference between this
See,
particular gorilla.
one of my thoughts that I had
Okay.
was like, okay, so they needed to have something distinct to recognize Peaches.
Yes.
So when he sees it, it's like, yeah, it's a gorilla. And then, like you said, I mean, there needed to be something that was distinct that
Like a
and
birthmark
a
or a
birthmark that looks
clue,
like peaches or something.
something I like a color, like
Yes,
there needed to
a
be like some
spot
sort of
on the fur or something.
right, yeah, something
Yeah.
that is very distinguishing.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're just a big black gorilla, and I'm
Yeah.
just okay. I'm done now.
No,
I
no, no.
think
I was with you on that because I was going like when I saw that I was like, how? So he just recognizes, I mean, it's almost like if you have like the same species of dog, like a German Shepherd. I mean, how are you supposed to? Oh, hey, it's socks, or like if you call them socks. I don't know why I just said socks, but I'm just saying, like, there's when it comes to animals, when it comes to certain animals in the
golden
animal kingdom.
retrievers. Like I
Yes,
can maybe
there
tell
you go.
two. I can tell two golden retrievers in the same house, maybe apart. But
Yeah.
you throw me out in the wild with
No.
any old golden retriever. Am I supposed to know which one is the
Yeah.
one that I take care of? No, no, it's not going
No,
to
no,
happen.
they should have had like some distinct like something to make it. Yeah, but of course we're talking
We're
about a
be-
kid show.
we're being 40-year-olds
We're
again,
being
aren't we?
40 watching a kid show. We're getting into it. But yes. So they go what's the circus called again?
Haley Circus.
Haley Circus, that's right. And
How dare
so
you, sir? How
I know
dare you, sir?
I
How
totally
dare you?
I totally just blanked right now. I was like, whoop. Anyways, but so yeah, then of course we get Dick and Tim that go there, and then of course they find Peaches, but then we meet Miranda.
Kane, yes. A
Okay,
voice,
spelled K.
a voice, by the way.
Okay, who is she? Because I was
Okay,
wondering.
Jane Weidlin.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, here's why. She was the lead singer for the Go-Go's.
No shit.
Yes, and I specifically picked out this one for you, Dave.
Ooh.
She was Joan of Arc in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah! Yes. Wow. Okay. I was like about to type in her name right now, which I just did, and then I'm like, once you said that, I just like saw her face immediately because I watched that movie
I
every
know you
fucking
have.
day.
So when I
Yeah.
saw that, because I looked up the name, it was not a name that I recognized. But as
Yeah.
soon as I did a Wikipedia search, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, that's I love finding the reference that I'm like, this is going to like immediately connect with Dave when I
Yes.
bring up this reference.
Yep. Yep. Totally. That. Yeah. As soon as you said that, I saw the face, but I'm still looking too, and yep, there she is. Cool. I didn't really. I totally forgot she was lead singer for the Go Go's. Wow.
Yeah. She actually has quite, if you follow, she actually ended up having quite the voice acting career. It was,
Okay.
I was impressed. It's always nice when you see people that you go, wow, you've done stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she was also actually, I think it was, I need to double check this. Wasn't Bruce Wayne's date in Critters, wasn't that Shannon? What
Shannon and Critters. That was I can't remember.
well, when the praying
Yeah,
mantises attack?
yeah. Was it her name? I can't remember what her name was. It
If
may have
her
been
name
Shannon.
was Shannon, that was her too. Like,
Oh,
she
okay.
yeah, they did a little, like, she had a little cameo there as Shannon. I was like, wasn't that the date in Critters? Of course, I try to forget
Might have been.
Critters, but,
Yeah, I know. Me too. But yeah, we meet Miranda, and of course, she was part of. I mean, it is kind of funny because we do that whole thing where, like, 12. I mean, like you said, I think we determined like 12 years later, Dick and Tim are walking through, and of course, everybody's like, "Hey, Dick," and of course, they call him Dickie. They call him
right.
Dickie,
Okay,
which
I'm
is
sorry. That's another thing. You're 12 years older. You were you were this high. How does everyone? Uh, okay, one.
recognize you,
How does everyone recognize you?
especially with that ponytail going
I
on.
know, right? And the rest of them aren't that old. So
Yeah.
you're going. I guess in my mind is that if you're going to be a member of Haley's Circus that still remembers Dick, shouldn't they be
A little older, yeah.
older?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting because I also got thinking, since we're talking about animation, it reminded me also of an episode from the first season of Young Justice,
Mm,
because there's an episode where the team, because once again, that's all they were called in Young Justice
yeah.
was the team.
Yeah.
The team goes undercover with Haley Circus because a plot very similar to this episode is used in the first season of Young Justice. And they have to go, but in that at that point in the show, in that first season, Dick is still Robin. Like, he's still like 13. Like, he's just shy of being like Teen Titans age. It's not like he's become Nightwing yet.
Mhm.
So that was a little bit more believable than maybe this, at least the way it was presented. But once again, 40-year-old man
Of course.
griping about a kid's cartoon. What can I
Yeah.
say?
We want too many details, too many details. But, I mean, obviously he's talking to her, and there's, you could tell that there's a little flirtation that comes with her. Of course, she has a snake wrapped around her, and that's basically, it's like, oh, she's suspicious already if she's got a snake around her, which I thought was cool. It's like, oh, wait, yeah, they're already just with her with a snake around her. We're like, oh yeah, she's guilty. They're already showing it right
Oh,
here.
it was a great red herring.
It was.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, she's got the bare midriff going on. She's got the dark eyes. She's got the snake. She's the animal trainer for the circus, and then
Yep.
all the shenanigans in this episode happen with the circus animals. So
Yeah, no, it was a good, like, yeah, like you said, a good red herring, because it's, because we do meet another, and immediately, like, when I started remembering this episode, I'm like, oh yeah, but at first I was like, wait, well, we'll get to it, but at first for some reason I was like, wait a minute, it's not, it's oh yeah, it's duh, and it was like one, anyways, we'll get
oh
to
no,
that.
I forgot who the actual villain was.
Yeah,
And I can tell you, there is a distinct moment, and it was before they reveal who the villain is. But there's a distinct moment in the episode that I went, "Oh, it's gotta be." Like,
yeah,
it's not like I remember. I didn't remember anything. I just figured it out by what was going on in the episode. I went, "Oh, the bad guy's going to be this." Then literally the next scene,
yeah, then
they
it was,
reveal that the reveal happens. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, at least I called it like 5 seconds before they told me.
true, true. But and then of course he asks, I mean, obviously Dick being, trying to investigate and doing his best detective skills. I mean, he starts asking her about, where's your family, what's going on, how we doing, I mean, he's doing his thing. And of course, Tim's just there along for the ride, just kind of rolling his eyes on a lot of things, which of course Naturally,
He's
that's going to be the case.
he's Tim.
With
It's just
him.
like, oh please.
Yeah. But then it gets even more suspicious because she is anytime that he's like wanting to pet one of the animals, especially Peaches or something like that. She's like, "Nope, you do not touch any of these animals. These are my animals. Do not touch them because of certain things and regulations and all this kind of stuff."
Insurance, yeah, she talks about
Yeah,
the insurance has gone up. Like it's liability, basically. It's
pretty
like
much.
if you don't
Even
work
though
for the
he was a part of
circus, yeah, if you don't work for the circus,
it. Yeah.
you don't touch the animals.
Which makes sense. It does make sense. So that was good. And then of course we get Dick is back at he's just looking through old Flying Grayson images, old circus images. And then of course Batman just shows up and as he does. And and it's kind of funny because again, we just see this relationship of like, you know, Dick doesn't I don't think he appreciates that Batman just shows up in his apartment, like breaks in essentially. But then at the same time, it's like Batman starts like kind of grilling him about like, yeah, hey, well, Miranda, well, sounds like she is like suspect number one. And Dick, you could see, he does that little teeth grinding, like, I don't know about this. Like he's not happy that Batman's accusing her because it to him
Because
it doesn't feel right.
Batman's also bringing up the fact that he's been tracking the tour dates of Haley's Circus,
Yep.
and similarly themed robberies have occurred at every place that Haley's Circus has stopped. So, Batman being Batman, he found a pattern.
Yeah.
Which means they must be guilty. Because I'm Batman.
Yeah, Dick's not feeling that. He's not feeling that. That's for damn sure. But so yeah, he's getting upset when it comes to that. And then of course, as he and I just love it, like the tension gets broken by because Batman gets a call from Tim back at the Batcave, and he doesn't answer it right away. And then he does, he goes, "What?" it's like Batman was trying to make a point. I mean, it's just like because I just love that relationship between him and Dick. It's just the fact that it's like there's just tension there, and there's
And
tension.
what's amazing, and this is going to come up when at the end of the episode, and I'll reveal why.
Huh.
We still don't know why the two of them are like
Yeah,
at odds.
yeah,
Like we know that he left, but we don't know why he left.
yeah,
But now he's back, and I just love this whole like they are just on each other, and it's funny too because they've worked together at least, well, kind of a couple of times at this point because we had You Scratch My Back, and that one was good.
yeah.
And then we had Over the Edge, but most of that episode was a nightmare and
Yeah.
wasn't like reality. So there hasn't been a lot of Nightwing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool how they still get to be and he did show up for Joker's Millions because he helped crash Joker at the end of that episode. But it's just kind of funny because it's like, no, they haven't really been around that much. So
Yeah.
there still gets to be that tension. It's not like they've let bygones be bygones. And I don't think in the series they ever do. Like there's always that underlying, like, kiss
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
attitude between those two.
There is. It's almost like how Batman is with Catwoman, but it's not sexual tension. It's just like,
Right.
yeah, it's just like there's just always like a tension there where Batman's just not quite. He's just like, you and then even like when Tim calls and says like, hey, some shit's happening, and Batman just goes, you coming? Like, hey, you just gonna sit here and look at fucking pictures, or are you gonna come and we're gonna solve this thing? And then of course, Dick gets up and gets, we see the whole lifting up of the painting, and hey, there's the Nightwing costume and all that stuff. And of course, they head out. Because there's like a garage, I guess you could say, that's being robbed, and it's being robbed by bears.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
What is that from?
Um, uh, Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay. I was like, I knew that was from something, but I just couldn't. I What did I just even hear recently from Wizard of Oz? Oh yeah, somebody was doing a Mandela effect. I watched I randomly went down a rabbit hole of like Mandela effect, and
Okay.
somebody made a whole video about Mandela effects when it came to Wizard of Oz. That's anyways. They were saying like, and I'm not even gonna go down to it because then we'd spin. Anyways.
Because you were there and you were there and you were there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we get into like this garage, and this time it's bears, and this is where we get that line that I started off the stream with, where it's a funny line because when they realize it's bears and there's two of them and they're like starting to fight, Nightwing just says to Batman, "You take the brown one, I'll take the other brown one," and it's just
They don't have names apparently. They're not special like Peaches. They're just bears.
oh,
They're just bears. Because, dude, I got a little. I know the bears are attacking them. I
yeah.
get that, but still, like they're like giving it to. They're giving them the business, and I felt kind of bad for the bears. Not gonna like
You
just
feel kind of
just a
bad.
little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially when you find out why they're doing it. But it is kind of funny too because it does like when they get there, one of the things they walked past like an access panel, like a key panel to get into this garage, and it says like ID okay or something like that. So it's like you don't suspect. You're like, well, how did bears like access this when it needed and was locked by a key panel? And that's what's like. So what I appreciate about this episode is the fact that it's like it gave you that little bit right there where you're just kind of going like, well, they showed that for a reason. That's pretty weird because unless there's a human being here, how the fuck did these bears access his garage when there was like a key panel that had it locked, So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool. But they do their best. Batman pulls out a fire hose and starts spraying one of them, which helps Nightwing get out of there. And then he gets on a forklift and then charges. I mean, they utilize what they can in this, garage warehouse to neutralize these bears.
Which is nice. I mean, like even when Batman gets the car lift, at least he like presses it
Yeah.
down on the bear. It doesn't crush the bear, but basically it's just like stay down. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but even Nightwing is like punching, like doing the
Yeah.
whole like jab 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 jab. It's like when you watch a boxing match and they go for like center mass, and you're like those like never do like you watch boxing movies and it's like you punch him, you punch him, and you punch him. It's like no, you got to go for like you can't go for here because that's where all the muscle is. It's like Bentley was like you got to have a soft spot somewhere. Apparently not because they just bitch slapped you across the room.
Pretty much. So yeah, so then they take care of that, and then hey, we get a Bullock little cameo here, huh? Scarfing down some popcorn, just kind of, in front of Haley's circus, just kind of just like, making sure that everything's okay, and then of course being the dick that he is when it comes to Miranda.
There's a lot of dick in this episode. Yeah. Sorry.
Zing, I like it.
Oh God.
Like,
Well, I will never stop making that joke anytime that Grayson
of
is in
course
an
not.
episode.
Anytime that Dick Grayson is in here, there's a lot of dick jokes, I guess you could say. When it comes to
We're
DC
never
fandom,
gonna stop. We're never gonna grow up.
never gonna stop.
Never
Never
gonna
gonna
stop.
stop.
No.
Yeah. So then, of course, like when he's like kind of grilling her about making sure cages are locked and everything, then all of a sudden we get, oh, who's the mystery guest here? Well, it's some clown. And then, and again, as I was like watching, this was one of those where everything was coming back, and I was like, oh yeah, no, it's not the. You would think it's the Joker. It's not the Joker. I
But
remember I was saying that.
what I love about this is the fact that the clown was even there at the beginning when
Yes.
Dick and Tim first visit the circuit. So what I love about when the reveal eventually happens of who the villain in the episode is, he's been there the entire time. We
Yeah.
just didn't see it. And I really like it. Once again, this is another one of those Hillary J. Bader written episodes. And I just thought that was, I like the way that was like planned out right there. It was like hiding in plain sight. And I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then yeah, he's on there. And of course it's not like it's a clown that's like that kind of like that clown that's dressed in like that old timey, like bum looking, like
Yeah, big pants,
big pants with suspenders, and
and it's a clown that's also a mime
yes,
because he
that
never
guy.
talks. Yeah.
Yep,
Well, of course, we know why he never talks now,
of
because as soon
course.
as he opens his mouth, we'd go,
Oh,
"Oh, yeah, yeah."
we know that
We
voice.
know that voice. Yes. When I hear Roddy McDowell, it's like, yeah, I know exactly who this
We
is.
know who you are. But yeah, so we get a little hint of that. And then of course Miranda goes back to her trailer, and then Dick is in there, and he just starts, asking more questions about a lot of things. And yeah, I mean Dick's just trying to do, like, and of course he does his whole thing. I just, heard things on TV. I mean, that's all. That's why I'm here, just hearing things and asking questions. That's all. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm a superhero or anything. But yeah, and just kind of talks to her about it. And then of course when he goes back to his place, Batman is there yet again. And this time he has video of what all took place.
Now, this is the moment when I figured it out.
Yeah.
When you watch the bears break into that car factory,
Yeah. And then
as
you see
soon
the
as they type in the code, I went, "Oh, it's Mad Hatter, isn't it?
yeah.
They're being mind controlled." I figured that out, and which works out fine, because if you go back to those early Mad Hatter episodes, like, actually, I think if you go back to the first Mad Hatter episode, Mad as a Hatter, he's controlling animals.
Yeah.
He's got animals who are like serving him tea and all of that. So the
Yeah.
idea of Mad Hatter
The rats.
mind controlling animals is not new to this episode.
Nope.
It's actually been pre-established since his first appearance.
Yeah. It's always been there. And then of course when we go back to the circus, I mean, that's where we get the reveal where it's like, oh yeah, he's talking to the bear, like he's like basically talking to the bears. You start hearing the voice, and then Miranda starts like coming in, like, what the hell? And then of course, yeah, then he reveals, like, hey, there he is. There's that mother. When was the only time that we've seen him this season was when he was on the couch talking about, what was that episode? He was on the couch
It was Over the Edge. It was the
over
talk
the edge. That's
show.
right.
It,
So,
it's
but
the,
we haven't
it's,
seen him. We haven't seen in his new design yet.
well, we saw his new design in Over the Edge,
Yes, but I
because
mean, like, we're full on. We just saw him on the couch. We didn't see. Yeah, okay. So we have seen it, but we just did. It was just like a brief
it was a
little moment.
cameo. He
Yeah,
made a, because remember when they did the couch, we saw Harley, we saw the Riddler, and we saw Mad Hatter.
yeah,
And that was the one where because that was the first time we saw the Riddler's redesign, and it was the first, and then that was the first time we saw the Mad Hatter, because we even hear Roddy McDowell
hmm,
in that episode, because he's the one who like has the punchline about like suing Bruce Wayne, for when it's revealed in that episode, in that nightmare that happens in Over the Edge. So yeah, we've seen this redesign, and once again, except for changing the suit, it's pretty much just Mad Hatter. Like
yeah. It's not as drastic as some of the others.
right, because it went from like a blue suit to a green suit. The one thing I didn't do today, and I was curious about, was I feel like if you go back to those original illustrations from Alice in Wonderland,
Mm.
I am curious if the color scheme, like, were any of those illustrations in color? They probably were in black and white, but I'm curious if there's ever been any colorized illustrations to know, like, why why change why change the design
Yeah,
the way that they did, because we've done that before with the new Batman. With some of the characters redesigns, we get why they did what they did, and other times we're left questioning, why'd you do that? Like why?
yeah,
Why change that? And
yeah.
so it's like, I don't
But
mind the
yeah,
redesign. But I still question the why green
oh,
instead of blue and
yeah.
anything like that.
No, it does make. Yeah, I get it, but yeah, it's not as bad as some of the others. And then of course, Batman and Nightwing, they show up on the circus grounds, and then Miranda, she's in a lion cage, so they have to rescue her when it comes to that. And yeah, this is and then of course, I mean, it's just the episode, it's a well-paced episode. And then of course, I mean, it's just them two that show up, and then of course they rescue Miranda, and that's basically where, we just kind of get to this whole
A fight.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to a fight. I mean, this is where whole thing is just going to be. Oh, noise. What's that noise coming from? Sorry, I have too many tabs open. Holy crap.
Too many. Dave, stop watching your porn while we're streaming. I just
Yes,
honestly,
I watch porn with our theme music playing. That's what I do.
okay, oh god, no, that brought no.
Well, that's what you just heard right now was our theme music. I just happened to click the tab that was the YouTube feed, so that's why I was like, I accidentally bumped it as I was doing that. Anyways, back to the episode.
Oh, please, back to the episode. Please.
As they walk into the big top, as they call it in the circus lingo, the big top. Massacre under the big top. I just remember that from Batman Forever. But yeah, because they say like, oh yeah, he's over at the big top. That's what Miranda says. Anyways, here we go. So obviously they come in here. It's like, silent. Just hear nothing but footsteps.
Do cats eat bats?
And I love this shot right here.
Oh, yeah, the 360 shot. Yeah.
You'll excuse me if I don't tip my hat.
It's over, Hatter.
And I was so close to one.
Oh, God, I love Roddy McDowell.
My mind control with animals had progressed to where I could control them from great distances. Oh, see what they saw. Direct their every movement. People, though, that's another story. With people, I still need
the voice. That's what I love about someone who's classically trained like Roddy McDowell. It's kind of like what I talked about with Andrea Barbeau in the Code of the Cat. Their inflections, the way that they don't just treat animation like we're gonna go up here all the time. Like there's levels, there's nuance in the vocal performance.
In the confines of this
I agree.
I suppose that makes me the true ringmaster.
Yes, thank you. Yes, lots of circus puns. We get it.
Sorry.
He seems like he's shorter in this version too.
He is shorter in this redesign.
Yeah.
You are correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Look out!
Okay, that's a cool move.
That was a cool move.
Using the whip to block all the hatchets. Yeah.
Because if he doesn't do that, if Batman doesn't say "watch out," Nightwing is dead.
Yes.
Of course, you got the whip.
Okay, I'm sorry. How's that whip? It's like that's like Stormtrooper aim. How can she crack that whip? I've messed around with the whip before. You don't miss like that. Like you're going to get smacked really hard.
Michelle Pfeiffer, though.
Oh God.
There you go, Nightwing. Work those freaking talents that you have.
Of course, you got a sword swallower. It's like, oh, wait, it's a
sword. And then you
swallower.
also got a fire breather guy who has like barely any hair. It's so funny. In a cape in like big underwear. You gotta love that. And sunglasses.
Want some jam with your toast, Batman?
Okay, stop it. Stop it. That's bad. That one's bad.
You gotta love it, bro. Up. Oh, you're messing up the hat. Oh, no. Huh?
I mean, that's kind of cool, though. Like the fire breather sets the hat on fire and he loses the mind control.
Of humans.
No.
You're really going to run from these kids?
I mean, seriously.
You didn't have a backup plan? Oh, you did. Wait, you did. Pizza?
Hats off in the presence of a lady.
Ah,
edges.
Nah. Wah, wah.
yeah.
Ha! I hate
And so
having
his
to
backup
resort to
plan was
such
a gun.
base, pedestrian form of violence, but you leave me no choice.
I do love the fact that Harvey Cohen did the music for this
Okay.
episode, but he
Okay,
kept.
this is okay.
Oh, he's
got-
dead. He's broken. His back's broken. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
bones are broken,
You
organs are
gonna stop?
smashed.
Eventually.
I mean, the fact that Peaches is just going to town. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, he's not walking away from that.
No, he's not.
That's just
No,
funny. But of course, they had to make it a lighthearted ending, cartoony. You know.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like if a gorilla is going to be bouncing on you like that, yeah, your backbone is broken, your pelvis is probably fucking shattered, and yeah, your lower
Ligaments are
intestine,
torn. It's like
everything's just fucked. You're not walking after that. But
what I was saying before you said that, because I completely agree, because I was thinking that the entire time I was watching the episode. Harvey Cohen did the music for this episode, but I love the fact that he retained Shirley Walker's Mad Hatter, because Mad Hatter had a theme. You know,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He kept it in there. So, all right, yeah, so that's good. But yeah, he's totally effed up right there, and probably gonna need some surgery after that one. It's not gonna be walking for quite a bit, but hey, Mad Hatter, he's gone, and then of course it ends with Bruce and Dick going back to the circus, and he's basically saying, yeah, Tim wanted to work within the circus, so he got him like a little job there. And what is he doing? Yeah, he's shoveling shit.
because that's what you actually would do if you worked at the circus.
Of course. So it's like, oh yeah, I got him a job here, and it was just like, it's one of those endings where Bruce like, oh, what kind of job kind of thing, and then of course you see good old Tim scooping up. I mean, obviously they're not going to like emphasize that it's shit. Well, how they emphasize it in animation form, a lot of flies.
A lot of flies.
Yeah.
Like flies to shit. Yes.
Yes, pretty much. And then of course, Miranda's like, hey, when you're done with that, you could do this. It's like one of those. And then I just like how Dick is just like, you know what? I miss this. It's like, it's just a way that he's just like, he just kind of reflected on that. Overall, I enjoyed this episode.
It's a fun episode. Is it stellar? Is it groundbreaking? No. But you know what? It's not
good episode with the boys. With the boys. Yeah.
And I always enjoy seeing Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter is a good villain.
He's a good villain, and it all worked out. But yeah, he's gonna have a broken pelvic area for a while.
Yes.
Poor guy. But overall, I think we both enjoyed this episode. What do we got next week, though?
Well, I was talking about how we were wondering why Batman and Nightwing are just like at odds and like what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we find out what happened.
Oh, this episode.
Yeah.
Finally. No, this is a good episode.
It is a good episode. It's called Old Wounds.
There you go. Old Wounds. Yes. So I was like, no, I remember this episode, not like full on start to finish, but I remember.
Oh, no. I remember this one
This one sticks out.
This one sticks out. But you want to know why? And I'll tell this story next week because I always do this.
Yeah.
I owned the comic book that the episode adapts.
I think I've read that comic book. Yes.
I don't have it anymore because this is one of those comic books that I got like in one of those 3-packs from the drugstore.
Yep.
And and it was one of those that were back. This is before I was a collector. This is when I was just a kid reading comic books. So what did I do? I rolled that puppy up. I stuck it in my back pocket. My mom even wrote my name on the cover.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, now as a collector, I'm just like, why? Because I clearly even remember exactly what the cover looked like. The cover is like emblazoned in my memory. So I'll bring this up next week when we talk about Old Wounds. But yeah, I have a very special place in my heart for this episode because that comic book was like an early Batman comic that I actually owned.
I don't know. I know I've read that one too, and I'm gonna have to look up that cover and see, because I'm pretty sure I can't. It's not ringing in my brain right now, but if I see it, I'll probably recognize it too. But I do remember this episode where I'm like, "Yep, we're finally gonna see why all this." Yes, and it's great, like all this tension and everything that they've built up, and you gotta love it. So, old wounds next week, guys. Gotta love it. And yeah, we'll be back still in Gotham City. And like I said, this episode tonight, Animal Act, it's a fun episode. It's
That's where we kind of leave it. It's
a fun episode. It's one of those fun episodes.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Like I said, it's an episode for the boys. And but anyways, all right. So we appreciate you guys spending some time with us. Go ahead, Scott. Promote anything you got to promote before we wrap it up here.
Well, what?
You got plenty to freaking promote.
I got a lot to promote. I just like, where do I start? Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find me on Instagram at McMerlin, and you can find me on Vero at Scott McClellan. You can find my latest episode of DC TV Squadcast wherever podcasts can be found, where Ray and I we just released last night our review and discussion of the first episode of The Penguin, episode 1, After Hours. And you'll be able to tune in weekly, because we will be recording week to week after every episode releases on Sunday nights on HBO. We're kind of shooting for like a Tuesday, Wednesday release of our discussions, but we're going to do it every episode. And then before we end that up, we're going to end up with, it's going to run us right into season 4 of Superman and Lois. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button over at DC TV Squadcast, or you can find us over at squadcastmedia.com to follow our regular discussions of both The Penguin and pretty soon, in a few weeks, Superman and Lois, the final season. Of course, you can follow me on YouTube at Squadcast Media. I've got my first reaction video up there from Transformers 1 with some very adorable special guests. You need to check that out. And pretty soon I will make sure that I will edit together and post my video journey plus review of Twilight of the Gods. So stay tuned for that. And who knows what else will be coming that way. And also make sure that you are subscribed over at the Geek Ultimate Alliance for World's Finest True Believers. I will be appearing again for it is Chris Balgo's 100th episode of that podcast.
Crazy. Yeah.
So make sure that you're subscribed over there. I'm going to be there. I don't know. Can I reveal? No, I'm not going to reveal yet. There's a surprise happening. So just make sure you're subscribed and check it out. And yeah, is that enough? I mean, I
don't know. Do you have anything else?
I mean, I'm here every Wednesday night with you.
There we go.
There we go.
Sometimes he shows up at the Fox stream. There you go. So yeah, I know. I was like, wow, you have a lot to promote, so that's good. And yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. And like I said, tune in next week too, as we go. We still continue on our Gotham City adventures, and then of course we have the Vox stream on Friday, which will be talking more about everything that happened during the week. And we love you. And hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We will talk to you later.